You begin by letting your breath slow, feeling Earth's quiet pull beneath you. Your mind rises like a soft tide, lifting you toward space, weightless and calm. You watch your home planet fade into a glowing sphere of blues and whispers. Here, the journey begins, with curiosity softened by the comfort of distance. With every heartbeat, you drift deeper into the solar system's quiet pathways. Full chapter, 1,150 words. You begin with a breath, slow, warm, familiar. You feel the weight of your body settling into the bed beneath you, but somewhere inside, a softer weight begins to lift. You close your eyes, and the edges of your awareness loosen like threads gently freed from a knot. You imagine yourself lying on the surface of the earth, feeling the faint tug of gravity as a steady hand resting on your shoulder. It is not a grip, but a reminder. You belong here, and yet you can rise. As your breathing finds its own rhythm, the world around you grows quieter, and a sense of spaciousness blooms behind your closed eyelids. You picture the sky above you deepening into evening. First, a dusky blue, then a velvety indigo, then a darkness so soft it seems to cradle every star it holds. You let yourself drift upward, leaving behind the familiar contours of trees, rooftops, and roads. There is no rush, no sudden leap, only the feeling of gradually lightening, as though the air itself is lifting you with gentle hands. You float through the last thin layers of the atmosphere, where the wind fades into stillness and the temperature slips into silence. You sense the world falling away beneath you, becoming a wide, curving horizon. Soon, the earth appears not beneath your feet, but behind your shoulder. Then before your eyes, a sphere of swirling blues, gentle whites, and warm browns. From this height, clouds look like brushstrokes, oceans like deep breaths, continents like slow-moving thoughts. You realize how alive the planet is, how every patch of color is a sign of motion. Winds circling, waves rising, forests exhaling. The earth is not just a place, it is a pulse. And as you drift farther away, your own pulse softens to match it, slow and steady, like a tide that never needs to rush. You feel the truth of gravity in a new way here. Gravity is not a force pushing or pulling with violence. It is more like an embrace, persistent and patient. It is the reason the moon circles Earth, the reason Earth circles the sun, the reason you feel anchored even when floating through imagination. You realize that every orbit is a form of falling, a slow, endless falling that never reaches the ground. The planets are always on the edge of surrender, yet always moving forward just fast enough to stay aloft. This balance, delicate and eternal, mirrors the balance in your own breath as you float a little farther from home. The darkness around you begins to brighten, not with light from a lamp or a flame, but with light reflected from the earth and the sun. The sun itself becomes a warm presence at your side, not blinding or harsh, but gentle, like a candle behind a curtain. In the near vacuum of space, there is no atmosphere to scatter light, so shadows sharpen and edges glow. You notice how still everything feels. No wind, no sound, only the quiet hum of existence itself. Space is not empty. It is calm. It is a silence wide enough to hold every thought without echo. As you drift, you begin to sense the subtle choreography happening all around you. Satellites glide below like mechanical birds. each following a precise pathway around the Earth. Their orbits are shaped by altitude and velocity, by the same rules that shape the path of the Moon. You imagine the invisible lines they trace, ribbons looping endlessly around the planet. These paths remind you of thoughts circling in the mind, some fast and close, some slow and distant, yet all held in place by the gravity of your own awareness. In this moment, even the technology that humans send into space feels like part of a natural rhythm below. The Earth rotates quietly. You see the shadow of night curling over continents, cities flickering into constellations of golden lights. On the day side, clouds drift like soft countenance of their own. The thin blue halo of atmosphere wraps the planet in a fragile glow. From here, the atmosphere looks as delicate as the surface of a bubble. Yet, it is the layer that holds every breath you've ever taken. You feel gratitude rise within you, not a loud feeling, but a warm, steady one for the world that carries you, feeds you, shelters you, and now gently releases you into this imagined drift. As you move farther outward, you begin to appreciate scale in a new way. The Earth seems large when you stand upon it, but from this vantage point, it floats like a marble in a vast ocean of night. You realize how much of life is spent focusing on tiny details, the corners of rooms, the screens in your hands, the tasks that press against your attention. But here, in this widening perspective, those details dissolve. What matters is the roundness of the Earth, the steadiness of its orbit, the peacefulness of its place among the planets. You sense, perhaps for the first time, how small worries truly are when held beside the architecture of the solar system. Your breath continues to guide you upward, and with each inhale, space seems to soften, becoming less foreign, more welcoming. You feel not like a visitor, but like a traveler returning to a place you have always known in some quiet part of your spirit. Humans have looked to the sky for millennia, to navigate oceans, to mark seasons, to imagine stories written in stars. As you float among them, you feel connected to every gaze that has ever risen toward the heavens. The universe has always been a mirror for human wonder, and now it reflects your own. The sun grows brighter as you turn toward it. Though you remain at a comfortable distance, you sense its power, the nuclear furnace at its heart, where hydrogen fuses into helium, releasing light that travels for 8 minutes before bathing the Earth. Yet here, that light feels like warmth in memory form, gentle and diffused. You realize that everything you have ever seen, every color you have known, originates from this radiant sphere. Its glow illuminates your path, guiding you toward the inner planets you will soon meet. You turn your gaze forward, toward the stretch of space between Earth and Mercury. The journey feels effortless, as though the vacuum itself is carrying you like a slow-moving current. You do not rush. The solar system waits with patience older than time. Ahead, Mercury lies close to the sun, scorched and silent. Venus follows, wrapped in heavy clouds that glow like embers beneath their brightness. Their worlds are harsh, yes, but also beautiful in their extremes, full of lessons shaped by heat, pressure, and ancient light. And as you drift deeper into this gentle corridor of space, you feel a quiet curiosity blooming inside you, a soft question rising with the rhythm of your breath. A question that carries you toward the scorched silence of Mercury and the veiled glow of Venus, waiting just beyond the next slow inhale. You slip past the sun's warm radiance, feeling the desert-like hush of Mercury. Then you float toward Venus, wrapped in thick clouds holding ancient heat. You sense how each world carries its own temperature of loneliness and light. Their extremes don't frighten you. They lull you, steady your breathing. Both planets become teachers of contrast, sunlight, shadow, and stillness. You move slowly through the widening light, letting the faint warmth of the sun settle over you like a thin, familiar blanket. The glow ahead is bright but not overwhelming. In this imagined drift, it feels more like the early morning sunlight that softens your eyelids before you open them. You can sense how the sun's radiance holds the planets in motion, guiding them through their endless cycles, shaping temperatures, shadows, and the very pace of time. With each breath, you drift closer to the first of the inner worlds, letting its stark simplicity draw you in. Mercury appears almost suddenly, as if it has been waiting in stillness for your arrival. It hangs in space, like a small, quiet stone, cratered. There is no atmosphere to blur its edges, no haze to soften its surface. Every detail is sharp, like a memory you've never forgotten. You feel as though you are approaching a place that knows silence better than anything you have ever known. This silence is not empty or frightening. It is patient, deep, and dignified. It is the kind of silence that comes after a long day when you finally sit down, and your body remembers what it means to rest. You settle above Mercury's sunlit side, where the heat rises to extremes your mind struggles to imagine. Without air to carry warmth away, the surface bakes under the sun's unfiltered light, reaching temperatures high enough to melt metal. You know this in a scientific sense, yet the feeling that reaches you is not one of fear. Instead, it feels like standing at the edge of a desert at noon, aware of the heat's intensity, yet appreciating its stillness. The rocks below have endured billions of years without wind or rain to reshape them. Their shapes are nearly eternal, preserved like fossils of sunlight. As you drift, you cross over the terminator, the thin boundary between day and night. On Mercury, this line marks a dramatic shift, because without an atmosphere, darkness brings a cold that falls 2 degrees far below freezing. You feel the contrast as a softness in your chest, a gentle reminder that extremes can coexist in the same small world. Hot and cold, bright and dark, scorched and frozen, Mercury carries all of them without conflict. It simply accepts what the sun gives and what the shadows reclaim. There is a calm honesty in this. You breathe into that honesty, letting it soothe your thoughts. When you reach the night side, the world becomes muted. No sunlight reaches this hemisphere, and the darkness feels like a soft blanket draped across ancient stone. Stars shine with extra clarity here, unscattered by atmosphere. And the sky above Mercury's night is so crisp, it feels almost close enough to touch. You float gently across the surface, watching craters spread beneath you like slow ripples in stone. Time seems stretched here. Without weather to erase the past, history remains, carved into the surface for eons. You feel the comfort of that endurance, a reminder that some things stay even as the universe shifts and evolves. You continue drifting, circling Mercury and watching day return beneath you. You feel a tender respect for this small world, the one closest to the sun, constantly bathed in light, yet holding vast swaths of cold darkness. You sense how it mirrors your own inner landscape, places warmed by experiences, places cooled by distance, all part of who you are. With one last breath, you let the planet shrink slowly behind you, feeling gratitude for its quiet lessons of contrast. Ahead, the space between Mercury and Venus feels different. The sun's pull is a little gentler here, the light a touch more diffused. You move through this soft corridor with unhurried calm, sensing how each planet has its own emotional temperature. Mercury was a place of quiet extremes. Venus, you know, will be a place of hidden depths. You feel the shift before you even see the planet, a thickening of atmosphere, an unseen weight, like drifting into a warm, fragrant fog. When Venus finally appears, it glows like a pale lantern, wrapped in shimmering, creamy clouds. From a distance, it looks calm and smooth, as if the entire world has been dipped in light. But as you draw closer, you notice the swirling patterns within the clouds, moving in slow, hypnotic curves. They cycle endlessly around the planet, driven by winds that circle faster than any hurricane on Earth. Yet even this fierce movement looks gentle from above, softened by distance, turned into a slow dance beneath a golden haze. You hover near the upper atmosphere, where the light scatters into warm hues, yellows, peaches, soft ambers. These clouds reflect sunlight like a delicate veil, keeping the surface hidden from direct view. For centuries, humans could only guess what lay beneath this bright covering. You feel an almost dreamlike curiosity rising within you, not rushed or sharp, but like a soft tide nudging you forward. You breathe deeply into that curiosity, letting it guide you without urgency. As you float lower in your imagination, the temperature rises dramatically. Venus's atmosphere traps heat with astonishing efficiency, creating a world hotter than Mercury despite being farther from the sun. This is the runaway greenhouse effect, a real, powerful process where thick layers of carbon dioxide and clouds of sulfuric acid lock in warmth. But the science does not feel harsh here. You simply feel heat as a presence, a dense, ancient memory of a world that once might have been different. Venus becomes a reminder that planets evolve, sometimes gently, sometimes dramatically. Shaped by chemistry, sunlight, and time, you drift just above the cloud tops, where the winds sweep around the planet at high speed. Though you cannot feel them physically, you sense the movement as a soft pulse, like the slow brushing of air across your skin. Beneath you, the world remains hidden, but the mystery is comforting rather than unsettling. It feels like listening to a story that has been partly forgotten. You know there is more beneath the surface, but the not knowing invites your mind to slow down as you rise again through the clouds. The sunlight shifts. Venus reflects so much light that it often shines brighter than any star in Earth's sky. You imagine seeing it from the ground back home, a bright evening or morning star, appearing just after sunset or just before dawn. You feel connected to every human who has ever looked up and wondered why this star shone so fiercely. In this way, Venus becomes not just a planet, but a thread woven through human curiosity and imagination. You pause one last time, floating at a comfortable distance where you can see the whole planet glowing softly against the dark. Venus looks peaceful here, serene even, though beneath its clouds lies a world of intense heat and pressure. These contradictions do not unsettle you. They feel like reminders that beauty and harshness can coexist, that what is hidden can still hold meaning, and that every layer of a world or a life has its purpose. And as you turn gently away, letting Venus drift behind you, a quiet question rises with your breath, guiding your attention toward the immense figures waiting deeper in the solar system, the giants of swirling storms and shimmering rings calling you softly onward. You approach the gas giants like drifting toward enormous sleeping beings. Their storms turn slowly, almost peacefully, despite their unimaginable power. Rings glimmer around Saturn like frozen sighs, circling in quiet repetition. You feel the vastness of hydrogen worlds and their moon-filled families. Every layer of cloud invites you to settle further into the rhythm of space. You continue your slow journey outward, letting Mercury and Venus shrink gently behind you, their lessons of heat and hidden depths lingering softly in your mind. The sun's warmth touches you differently here, not too close, not too distant, just enough to highlight the vast emptiness between worlds. You breathe into that quiet, feeling the subtle tug of gravity from planets you have yet to meet. With each inhale, you drift farther into the rhythm of the solar system, a traveler guided by curiosity, wonder, and the quiet pulse of the universe itself. Ahead, a new presence grows in your imagination. You sense it before you see it, the way a voice can fill a room before you recognize the speaker. It is vast, enormous, and yet gentle in its movement, as if the universe itself is exhaling. Jupiter appears, a swirling sphere of muted oranges, soft browns, and creamy whites, a living mosaic of storms. Its size humbles you in the quietest way, not with fear, but with awe. You feel your body lighten, as though your mind stretches to match its enormity, and you let yourself float closer with no hurry, no urgency, only soft attention. The clouds of Jupiter are alive in subtle ways. You imagine them turning slowly in patterns that have been moving for centuries, creating the great red spot, a storm larger than Earth itself, yet moving in a rhythm so deliberate it could almost be a lullaby. You sense the energy beneath the turbulence of hydrogen and helium rising and falling, yet all contained within the immense body of the planet. Here is a kind of power that does not scream for attention. It whispers, inviting your mind to notice the poetry of motion, the slow pulse of forces far beyond what you can touch. As you drift, you watch smaller storms emerge and fade, dancing along the bands of color like brushstrokes on a canvas painted by wind and pressure. You feel the way clouds and gases shape themselves around invisible lines, forming patterns that repeat yet never exactly mirror themselves. You think about how these clouds have witnessed centuries of solar wind, how they have moved beneath unseen moons and magnetic fields. Their stillness is relative, a concept that stretches your mind while comforting your senses. You feel yourself settling into their rhythm, inhaling and exhaling in tandem with the slow, swirling motions of the planet below. The moons of Jupiter are scattered around like tiny notes in a vast symphony. Ganymede glimmers with icy plains, Callisto whispers ancient scars. Europa holds a secret ocean beneath its frozen crust. Io glows with volcanic fire that seems almost alive. You let yourself drift among them, feeling their gentle tugs, noticing how they dance in tandem with the great giant. Jupiter is not solitary. It exists as part of a complex, intricate family, each member shaping the others in an endless ballet. You notice a subtle warmth in that knowledge, how even enormous power finds harmony when given companions. Your mind drifts to the atmosphere, imagining the layers of clouds that stretch from top to bottom, each with its own temperature, density, and color. The uppermost clouds catch sunlight in creamy whites. The mid-level clouds swirl with tans and browns, and the deepest layers hide in shadow. You imagine floating through these layers, feeling the gentle differences in weight, pressure, and light, as if the planet itself is breathing around you. Here is a lesson in patience, in the quiet persistence of cycles, the way energy moves without demand, without hurry. You realize how deeply restorative this is, this slow, deliberate rhythm of storms that have lasted longer than human memory. As you rise again, Jupiter begins to recede softly behind you. Yet its presence lingers, a quiet melody in your awareness. Your gaze drifts further outward to a new shape emerging in the distance, a pale golden glow adorned with rings that shimmer in quiet repetition. Saturn floats there, a different kind of giant, elegant, serene, and strangely delicate in its display. The rings are not solid, but made of countless fragments of ice and rock, each following invisible paths, each reflecting sunlight in tiny sparks. You feel the gentle poetry of it, the notion that enormous structures can exist in quiet fragility. Moving with precision and grace, you glide closer to Saturn, feeling the pull of its gravity and the stillness of space around it. Its clouds are softer than Jupiter's in appearance, more subdued, yet you sense their own restless movement. Winds circle at incredible speeds, yet they seem almost invisible from this distance, like the quiet brushing of long hair across a surface. You float above the upper atmosphere, noticing subtle shades of gold, tan, and pale ochre, layers blending into one another as though painted by slow, intentional strokes. You sense the calm embedded in motion, that quiet lesson repeated across the solar system. Where power does not always shout, the rings invite your attention. From a distance, they appear as perfect circles, precise and continuous. Closer, you see the individual particles, each one catching light, tiny reflections forming a soft, endless shimmer. You think about how every fragment has traveled for billions of years, remnants of moons, comets, and cosmic debris caught in Saturn's embrace. The rings feel like frozen sighs of the universe, gentle remnants of time, circling endlessly with calm inevitability. You let yourself imagine touching them, feeling the ice and rock as softly as clouds on your fingertips. Saturn's moons hover quietly nearby. Titan, with its thick orange haze, holds seas of liquid methane, an alien yet strangely familiar world. Enceladus gleams with reflective ice, jets of water vapor spiraling into space like whispered secrets. You drift between them, sensing the subtle gravitational tugs, the intricate balance that keeps the system in harmony. Even in this vastness, there is a rhythm, a measure, a heartbeat, a reassurance that motion and stillness can coexist without conflict. You breathe into that understanding, feeling it ripple softly through your own chest. You rise higher, floating beyond the cloud tops, beyond the rings, yet not leaving Saturn behind entirely. Its presence lingers, a soft echo in your awareness as you consider the scale of these giants. Jupiter and Saturn, each with their own vast families of moons, each with their own storms, each with their own hidden motions. They are the architects of outer space, slow and deliberate, yet nurturing in their constancy. You feel small but not insignificant, a part of this intricate, unfolding tapestry. The calmness of these giants seeps into you, slowing your pulse, softening the edges of your thoughts, preparing you for what comes next. Your imagination drifts, and you feel the pull toward the cold, distant reaches. The gas giants slowly recede behind you, their lessons in motion, scale, and quiet power imprinted in your awareness. You sense that something different awaits, a shift in temperature, a shift in light, a different rhythm, softer and colder, farther from the warmth of the sun. You do not hurry, you do not need to. Each moment is full, each breath complete, as you glide into the corridor that leads to Uranus and Neptune. The giants have whispered their truths, and now you carry them gently forward as you drift toward the ice worlds that await in silence and mystery. Far from the sun, your senses soften in the dim, cool ambience of ice giants. Uranus tilts like a dreaming body, rolling through the black with gentle strangeness. Neptune's deep blue winds hum like a distant ocean you can almost hear. You let the cold teach you quiet, drifting through methane clouds without fear. In the stillness, the edge of the solar system begins to call your name. Full chapter, 1,250 words. You drift farther outward now, leaving the warm, golden swirls of Saturn behind, carrying with you the echoes of storms and the soft shimmer of rings. The sun's light has faded to a distant glow, gentle and muted, no longer bathing planets in bright warmth. Here, the world softens, your senses attune to subtler rhythms, to the quiet music of space in shadow and cold. You feel your body lighten in the near vacuum, a gentle buoyancy that allows your mind to float alongside it. The farther you go, the slower time seems, each breath stretched into a tender, lingering pause. The first ice giant, Uranus, appears in your imagination like a pale, tilted dream. Its rotation rolls along an unusual axis, leaning nearly on its side, as if the planet itself has chosen to sleep while circling the sun. The effect is strange, yet peaceful. You float near its cloud tops, observing its soft green-blue haze, the subtle bands of color that whisper of methane absorbing red light. The planet seems gentle, almost sleepy, turning with a quiet deliberateness that contrasts with the violent storms you left behind on Jupiter. Here, motion is more suggestion than command, a graceful sway in the emptiness. You imagine the atmosphere around Uranus, thick with hydrogen, helium, and methane, layered like delicate curtains. Each layer moves at its own pace, yet together they form a serene harmony, a quiet symphony in frozen tones. There are storms too, but they seem muted, folded into the slow rotations, like soft sighs of air brushing over a distant landscape. You notice how the tilt changes the perception of day and night on the planet. One pole basks in sunlight for decades, while the other remains in darkness, a long, slow meditation. You feel the rhythm of this alternation within yourself, the inhalation of light, the exhalation of shadow. Uranus's moons circle gently, each in its quiet, predictable path. Miranda leaps closer in your imagination. Cliffs and canyons carved in icy stone like frozen echoes of long-lost turbulence. Ariel, Umbriel, Titania, Oberon, they revolve in a soft choreography. Their presence, small yet meaningful against the vastness of the planet. You feel a sense of family in this distance, a reminder that even in isolation, worlds are not solitary. Their orbits are ancient, balanced, a meditation on gravity's patient artistry. You breathe into the calm of this architecture, letting the precision of motion and the softness of distance lull your mind further into quiet. Beyond Uranus lies Neptune, deeper in the outer dark, painted in striking cobalt and deep blues. It hums with a hidden energy, a cold, invisible ocean beneath its cloud tops. You sense the winds before seeing them, flowing faster than any hurricane on Earth, yet they do not alarm. They move in gentle, almost musical waves, a hum of motion you can almost hear in the mind, not the ears. Here, the cold is alive, not harsh, but instructive, teaching you the serenity of patience, of endurance. The further you float into Neptune's presence, the more the universe seems expansive, endless, yet intimate in its small, perfect details. You move closer to Neptune's cloud tops, noticing the pale streaks of methane and hydrogen swirling in graceful curves. Storms form and vanish without urgency, small white ovals moving like thoughts across the deep blue canvas. The great dark spot, though diminished from the first images sent back by Voyager, is still imagined by your mind as a living whirlpool, rotating with majestic slowness. It is a storm that has existed in some form for decades, and yet it never demands your focus, only invites you to watch, to understand the elegance of energy and time in harmony. You drift along with it, feeling your own heartbeat slow in imitation. Neptune's moons appear softly against the inky black. Triton moves backward in its orbit, an unusual retrograde motion that feels like a gentle exception to the rules. A quiet reminder that not everything follows expected paths. You imagine its icy surface, geysers of nitrogen erupting quietly, subtle sprays that mark a living, breathing world beneath a frozen exterior. Each moon seems to tell a story, small yet profound, of resilience, of change over eons, of beauty hidden beneath layers of cold and distance. You float among them as a quiet witness, sensing the gentle lessons of the outer dark. The light here is minimal, filtered, and faded across millions of kilometers. Stars emerge brighter against the black canvas of space, more numerous and vivid than you have ever noticed. You feel your body blending into the surroundings, no longer separate from the immense silence, the endless cold. In this place, you do not need to move quickly. The gas giants and their moons have taught you a patient rhythm. Now the ice giants teach you subtlety, the delicate power of cold and distance, the softness in quiet extremes. Each layer of cloud, each tilt of a planet, each whisper of wind carries a calm you can sink into. You allow yourself to drift along Neptune's orbit, imagining the faint trace of the sun's light reflecting off distant clouds. It feels like a memory, a soft echo of warmth, reassuring yet remote. You notice how the methane-rich atmosphere absorbs red light, letting only cool blues and greens linger. The color itself seems to carry a lesson. Coolness can be beautiful. The distant can be comforting. You feel yourself attuning to these sensations, letting the chill settle like a gentle weight, softening your mind, easing tension. You inhale and exhale with Neptune's slow pulse, feeling part of a rhythm that has lasted far longer than your imagination can measure, far beyond the planet. The edge of the solar system begins to make its presence known. Kuiper belt objects drift in your awareness, small and faint, almost whispering. You sense the gradual thinning of matter, the slow fading of sunlight, the beginning of places that exist more in shadow than in illumination. It is not frightening. It is inviting a place for quiet reflection, a place for curiosity to stretch its limbs in peaceful exploration. You float toward this soft boundary, carrying the cool lessons of Uranus and Neptune with you, the memory of tilts, winds, and distant moons tucked gently into your mind. You let your thoughts wander outward, considering the vastness and the extremes. These ice giants are worlds of slow movement, of hidden energy, of patience measured in centuries rather than days. They remind you that time can stretch, that energy can circulate without noise, and that beauty often hides in quiet, distant spaces. The farther you drift, the more you understand how each planet has its own voice, the warmth and contrasts of Mercury and Venus, the massive power and storms of Jupiter and Saturn, and now the serene, frozen whispers of Uranus and Neptune. As you float onward, the cold darkness teaches you subtlety. You notice your own breathing, slow and deep, matching the rhythm of distant winds, matching the slow tilt of a planet rolling on its side. Your awareness expands, embracing the empty spaces, the gentle hum of energy, the long shadows of the outer system. In this quiet, you feel both small and expansive at once, a part of the solar family, yet floating freely in a vast, welcoming dark. You are suspended between warmth and cold, near and far, light and shadow, letting each sensation wash softly over your mind. And as you glide further toward the faint, icy fringes, the thought of worlds still more distant begins to stir. Pluto, Charon, and the quiet companions beyond, waiting patiently in the frozen edges of the sun's embrace. The outer dark hums with possibilities, carrying a gentle invitation that you follow with your curiosity, your breath, and your calm, attentive mind. You reach the outer border, where sunlight arrives as a soft and tired glow. Pluto and its companions feel like forgotten stories, frozen in time. You trace the delicate dance between dwarf planets, icy plains, and lonely moons. Here, beginnings and endings blur in the faint starlight. A gentle question lingers, guiding you toward the deeper dark. You drift slowly past Neptune, leaving its deep blue winds and distant moons behind. The sun is a tired glow now, stretching long rays across the black. Light itself seems softer here, muted, filtered through billions of kilometers of emptiness. You breathe gently into this quiet, noticing the small pulse of your own presence against the vast, icy outskirts of the solar system. The further you go, the more your awareness stretches, like soft silk unfolding, touching the edges of the unknown. Ahead, a small, distant shape emerges. Pluto at first. It is barely more than a pale dot, a whisper in the darkness. As you drift closer, the details sharpen. The surface is a tapestry of icy plains, mountains of frozen rock, and gently sloping valleys. Shadows stretch across the craters, elongated by the dim light of the distant sun. You notice the gentle warmth reflected from its surface, faint but persistent, a reminder that even at the edges, the solar system continues to offer faint pulses of energy. Pluto feels quiet, isolated, yet profoundly present, holding its own small dominion. You imagine yourself floating just above its surface. The plains, called Sputnik Planitia, spread wide, gleaming with nitrogen ice, reflecting the sun's faint glow like a distant lake under a pale sky. Mountains rise from the frozen ground, jagged but softened by distance, like frozen thoughts cast into stillness. You sense the long time scales here, billions of years of cold, slow motion. There is no rush, no hurry. The planet moves in its orbit with patience that surpasses human measure. It teaches you the value of stillness, of quiet endurance, and of noticing small details amid vast spaces. Pluto's moons accompany it on its journey, each a tiny companion in the black. Charon, the largest, looms nearby, its surface mottled with canyons and cliffs, a silent twin dancing in tandem with its parent. You drift alongside them, sensing the gravitational dialogue that keeps them bound together, a delicate rhythm that has lasted millions of years. Nix, Hydra, Kerberos, Styx, each small, each unique, yet all part of a gentle, intricate choreography. You imagine their slow orbits, the tiny tug of each body on the other, creating a ballet of motion that is invisible yet profoundly real. The dance feels meditative, a quiet lesson in balance. You allow your mind to wander to the textures of the dwarf planets themselves. Beneath their icy surfaces, mysterious layers may exist, pockets of liquid water, perhaps, or organic compounds that hint at chemical life cycles. You do not need to know. It is enough to imagine the possibilities, letting curiosity drift alongside wonder. Here, at the solar system's edge, mystery is a companion rather than a threat. The faint sunlight illuminates it just enough for you to appreciate the shapes, the shadows, the textures, and the subtle whispers of motion. You notice how time itself behaves differently here. Days stretch longer, orbits are slow, measured in Earth years that feel almost unreal. You feel your own sense of time shift as you float through the frozen margins, your breath syncing with the gentle cadence of these distant worlds. Each rotation, each revolution is a meditation on persistence and patience. You let go of urgency, letting your awareness expand to hold both the minutiae of Pluto's surface and the vast emptiness that surrounds it. Both exist together, and both are beautiful. The cold penetrates your imagination in a soft, calming way. Unlike Neptune or Uranus, where winds carry whispers of energy, here the stillness dominates. Yet there is a quiet vitality in the silence, a reminder that even in frozen shadows, processes continue. Sublime temperatures, faint glimmers of light, gravitational interactions, all hum softly together, forming a rhythm that is too slow for most minds to notice, yet perfectly audible to your inner ear. You float with it, each inhalation carrying you further into the delicate textures of distant space. You let your attention drift to the tiniest companions, the farthest objects of the Kuiper Belt, they are scattered like cosmic seeds, small fragments of ancient time, each orbiting slowly, quietly, patiently. You sense the stories embedded in their frozen crusts, the echoes of solar winds that brushed them billions of years ago. Though you cannot see them in detail, you feel their presence in your awareness, adding layers to the tapestry of the outer solar system. They remind you that the universe is full of quiet, hidden corners, and that beauty often resides in the smallest, most overlooked places. Pluto, Charon, and these faint companions all carry traces of histories beyond human comprehension. You let your mind dwell on these histories, imagining ancient impacts, shifts in orbit, subtle reshaping of icy surfaces over unimaginable time. The worlds here are archives of the solar system, preserving secrets that may never be fully known. You feel privileged to drift among them, a quiet witness to slow cosmic choreography. You do not rush. There is no need to hurry. Everything here moves in measured, intentional patience, a natural rhythm that invites your mind to align with it. You glide above Pluto's northern plains, where the light catches subtle ridges and valleys, revealing patterns that resemble frozen brushstrokes across a canvas. The beauty here is understated, refined in its stillness. Each glance offers a new detail, a different texture, a softer shadow. You feel your senses softening in response, letting the slow, silent cadence of the planet guide you deeper into awareness. You become aware of the small contrasts, light and dark, smooth and jagged, stillness and motion, all interwoven in a subtle balance that mirrors the patterns of your own thoughts. When they are calm and patient as you drift among the moons, you notice the tiny gravitational tugs, the gentle oscillations that hold the system together. There is a quiet intimacy here, a sense of connection between distant objects that contrasts with the vast emptiness around them. You reflect on the delicate interplay of forces, how gravity shapes worlds, maintains harmony, and allows motion without chaos. It is a gentle reminder that even in extreme distances, even in the outer margins, relationships endure. The dance of Pluto and its companions becomes a meditation on connection, on trust, on the quiet persistence of bonds, invisible to the naked eye. You allow your gaze to move outward, toward the faint edges of the solar system, where sunlight becomes a memory, and the Kuiper belt gives way to darkness, almost absolute. Here, beginnings and endings blur. The limit of what is illuminated by our star is reached, yet beyond lies the unmeasured, the unknown, the deep dark. You sense this transition as a soft invitation, a gentle pull, asking you to imagine what lies further still. It is not frightening. It is a whisper of curiosity, a subtle prompt to keep drifting, keep exploring, keep observing with calm and patient attention. You float there, suspended between the familiar light of the sun and the unseen vastness beyond. The icy companions of Pluto continue their slow orbits, each a testament to endurance, to the patient unfolding of the universe. You sense a quiet lesson in this, that even in the most remote, cold, and seemingly forgotten places, there is order, there is beauty, there is meaning. You breathe in sync with these distant worlds, feeling their rhythms echo in your own chest, soft and meditative, a reflection of cosmic patience and quiet elegance. And as you linger on the edge of the known, your mind begins to drift outward, beyond Pluto and its companions, toward the deep shadows where the solar system thins into the dark, distant expanse. The outer dark hums softly with possibilities, the edges of light giving way to infinity. A gentle question stirs with your breath. What lies beyond? Waiting patiently, quietly, in the quietest corners of our sun's embrace, where even the faintest glow is a memory. You turn back slowly, letting every world fade like a dream after waking. The vast solar family glides below you, familiar now in shape and silence. Your breath syncs with the slow orbit of planets circling in endless calm. You return to Earth, carrying a softened sense of scale and belonging. A final thought invites you to wonder what lies beyond. Just out of view, you begin to drift inward, leaving the icy margins and distant, silent companions of Pluto behind. The faint sunlight stretches across your path, softer now, a gentle promise rather than a bright command. Each planet you pass has left a quiet imprint on your mind, subtle yet indelible. The scorched calm of Mercury, Venus wrapped in golden clouds, Jupiter's swirling storms, Saturn's glittering rings, Uranus and Neptune's frozen whispers. You carry them with you like a collection of soft memories, each one a meditation on distance, light, and the quiet power of existence. The journey inward feels like exhaling after holding a long breath. Space itself seems to open, revealing corridors of darkness punctuated by tiny glimmers of starlight, each one a reminder of scale and perspective. You notice the subtle tug of gravity from planets you have passed, small yet constant, guiding your trajectory with invisible hands. The rhythm is slow and steady, a pulse you can sense in your chest, in the movement of your thoughts. It feels safe here, enveloping you in calm, allowing curiosity and reflection to move together as one dot. As you approach Neptune and Uranus again, their blue-green hues are softer than before, diffused by the distance and the dim glow of sunlight returning from behind. You feel the cold lessons linger, the serene patience embedded in tilted and swirling worlds. You imagine their moons tracing their slow paths, each orbit a quiet repetition, each surface a frozen note in an endless symphony. The planets feel less like distant strangers now, and more like old friends whose presence soothes rather than surprises. You linger for a moment, inhaling their quiet energy, before moving slowly past them. Saturn and its rings come into view again, a delicate shimmer across the void. You notice the countless particles that compose the rings, each reflecting light in subtle flashes like scattered whispers. The moon's orbit in the background, a gentle reminder that complexity can exist without hurry. You allow yourself to float near the rings for a moment, imagining the slow, ancient rotations of ice and rock, feeling the quiet artistry of balance and motion. Saturn's soft glow leaves a warmth in your mind, a contrast to the cold margins, reminding you that distance does not diminish presence or beauty. Jupiter follows, immense and grand, its bands of color stretching across your vision like a living painting. The great red spot turns slowly beneath you, a storm that has persisted for centuries. You feel its motion not as threat, but as rhythm, a slow heartbeat in the vastness. The clouds swirl with energy, yet also with calm, each layer a lesson in patience and harmony. You sense the pull of its moons, the gentle gravitational dance that binds them in patterns older than human memory. Floating here, you carry the echoes of Jupiter's power in your own chest, a soft reminder of scale and endurance. As you glide past Venus, the thick clouds soften your awareness, reflecting sunlight in muted golds and ambers. You sense the warmth trapped within, the invisible currents of atmosphere moving with slow persistence. Venus feels alive in its quiet way, a world of hidden layers, teaching the subtle art of presence without need for display. You drift past Mercury again, its sun-baked plains and frozen nights, smaller now, distant yet familiar. You feel the contrasts fold into your own rhythm, warmth and cold, light and shadow, motion and stillness, soft patterns to carry with you. The sun, now growing slowly larger in your vision, offers a gentle radiance. Its light is no longer overwhelming. It touches you softly, brushing against your thoughts with quiet familiarity. You notice how the planets orbit steadily, carrying their moons, their rings, their clouds in slow repetition. There is a quiet, almost hypnotic beauty in these movements, a reminder that cycles endure even in vastness. You feel your own breath syncing with this rhythm, a gentle inhalation and exhalation matching the planetary pulse of the solar system as you approach the inner planets. The familiar blues and greens of Earth begin to shimmer faintly in your awareness. From this distance, the oceans glimmer softly. The continents appear as subtle textures on a rounded, luminous sphere. Clouds drift lazily across the surface, softening the edges like gentle brushstrokes across a living painting. You allow your attention to rest on Earth for a moment, feeling the connection between your journey and the place where it began. You carry the lessons of distance, stillness, and perspective into your awareness, letting the familiar planet welcome you back with silent recognition. The moon follows quietly in your line of sight, a calm companion as it orbits Earth. Its pale surface is etched with shadows and craters, catching light in a delicate glow. You sense the subtle gravity that ties it to Earth, a constant presence in motion that mirrors the quiet rhythms you have carried with you across the solar system. You imagine tracing its orbit with your mind, following the elegant curve that never falters, a reminder that even immense forces can move with gentle precision. There is comfort in this continuity, a reassurance that the patterns of the cosmos are steady and nurturing, floating closer. You notice the thin layer of atmosphere wrapping Earth like a soft, protective veil. Light scatters gently across the sky, painting it in hues of blue that soften toward the horizon. The oceans shimmer faintly, reflecting both sunlight. Clouds drift slowly, casting soft shadows across land and sea. You inhale, filling your awareness with the textures, the colors, the gentle motion. Everything is in its place. Everything is moving in quiet harmony, and you feel yourself returning fully to this rhythm, carrying the calm and vastness of the solar family within you. As you descend, the details of Earth become richer, the soft waves, the muted greens and browns of continents, the serene glow of cities and rivers far below. You feel a quiet gratitude for having witnessed the vastness, the extremes, and the subtleties of other worlds. You understand something that you could not before, that scale does not diminish intimacy, that distance can deepen connection, that even the smallest gestures, A moon's orbit, a storm's swirl, an icy plain carry significance when observed with care. You settle into this awareness, letting it flow softly through your mind. The journey inward is unhurried. Each breath carries a memory of the gas giants, the ice giants, the dwarf planets, and their quiet companions. You feel these memories as gentle echoes, fading softly but leaving impressions in the folds of thought. You sense the sun's warmth growing slowly, wrapping you in familiarity without urgency. Each planet, each orbit, each subtle detail becomes a part of the rhythm of your own awareness. A lullaby composed in light, motion, and silence. You feel the solar system breathing with you, expanding and contracting in harmony with your own slow pulse. You allow your gaze to sweep outward one last time. Over the expanse you have traversed, the solar family in its quiet majesty continues its endless dance, planets circling, moons revolving, rings shimmering, clouds flowing. You are both observer and participant, carrying the vastness within, letting your mind rest in the gentle patterns of motion and stillness. The darkness between worlds is no longer empty. It is filled with the presence of knowledge, wonder, and soft, enduring beauty. You feel your consciousness suspended, weightless, yet deeply grounded in the familiarity of cycles. And as Earth grows larger, welcoming you back, a quiet thought drifts into your mind. The journey may pause here, but beyond the edge of this solar system, beyond the farthest dwarf planet, beyond even the faint glow of the sun, the universe continues in silence and motion, patiently waiting for the next drift of curiosity, the next breath of wonder, the next gentle exploration of what lies just out of view.